Alright everybody, this is James 2Bay439 here and welcome to my parts tour video. Today is May 27, 2021 and I'll be showing you guys my elevator parts today. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Alright everybody, kicking it off is going to be my very first elevator part, which is this Innovation Security call button. And it's somewhat reflective as well, as you guys can see on the buttons. This panel also has a fire service phase 1 key switch, so I'll demonstrate that real quick. We'll take the key, put it in, and now it's on. You can take the key out in the on position, then you can put that key back in, turn it to bypass, and then off, here, and then off, and then there you go. So it does feature the fire service phase 1 key switch. This is, like I said, my very first elevator part, and it's a really nice part as well. It's one of my favorites that I have, and I gotta say, I did spend quite a bit for this, but in the end it was worth it. Alright everybody, moving on, we're now looking at this ThyssenKrupp Signa 4 elevator car lantern. I got this part probably a few months after I got my first part, the one you guys just saw. This one though, it's just an up-down lantern. It's not wired up, so it really doesn't do anything. It just sits and does nothing, but still it's a pretty cool part, and hopefully in the future I can get this thing wired up. Alright everybody, so this next part is one of the smaller parts I have, but this is a Dover key switch. So this is a lockout key switch. So what it does, this one is, you would see these on elevators for hall call lockouts and floor lockouts. This one though is for hall lockouts, and that's because this is one of the ones where you cannot turn it to on and leave it on. Like, you can't leave the key in the on position. This one is actually spring-loaded, and I'll let you guys see. Oh, the tripod, but you put the key in, and you'll see when I turn it. So I got the key, I turn it. See, it turns to on, take it off. Take my finger off, it goes back to the off position, and it only turns about 45 degrees. So that's one of the smaller parts I have, but still one of the coolest parts I think I have as well. Because a lot of these key switches, you know, they're dual action where you can put it on the on position and take the key out. On this one you can't, because this one is spring loaded. So this is a cool little elevator part I have. On the subject of key switches, here's another key switch I have. This is a priority service key switch for an Otis elevator. This would go with Series 1 fixtures. This was actually given to me by an Otis technician. There's an interesting story behind it, so I'll make this real short. There was an Otis technician that was going to check up on an elevator at a particular building. I knew some people at that building, and we were able to schedule an appointment, so I was able to come over when the elevator tech was over. And he showed me the elevator machine room, the shaft, and some other stuff, and then as we were leaving, he said, "Hey, you want to see my truck real quick?" And we went out there, we looked, and he had some parts in there, and he had 2 priority service key switches, and he said, "You can have this." And he gave it to me because I showed him my elevator keys before. And he probably gave it to me considering the fact you don't really see priority service key switches too often for Series 1 fixtures at least. And since I have my keys, we'll demonstrate this key switch real quick. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So we'll take the key. Now priority service is on. You can take out the key in both positions, unlike the Dover one. Off, on, and then off. So there's that key switch. Really nice of that Otis technician to give it to me. So I'm not going to say his name on here, but if you happen to see this video, thank you for this. I really enjoy the part. This right here is a Schindler HT vandal resistant call button. Got this off eBay for a pretty decent price. This is one of my favorite elevator parts that I have because, as you guys know, I really like Schindler. And Schindler HT. I prefer regular HT buttons, but you know, this was HTVR, so I figured I would get one of these. And we flip it on the back. There's no guts on here, but there is something interesting. There's a little label there. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see it. But it actually says, focus. Here, let me focus it. Alright, I couldn't really get it to focus too well, but you guys can kind of see what it says. It says corridor fixture 321A, which is kind of interesting because HTVR cannot be on 321A elevators, and you got Schindler Elevator Corporation sticker right next to it as well. So this is one of my favorite parts that I have. I really like this button. Yeah, and I've had this for probably a few years, maybe a year or two now. It's hard to tell. I've kind of lost track, but there it is. It's a really nice part. So, all right, let's move on to the next part. Next up are some Dover impulse parts. As you guys can see, I have 3 of them. This is the one. This one I've taken out of the package. The other 2 I have not taken out of the package, just to keep them nice and sealed. Those pretty much haven't been touched. I mean, I pressed the buttons through the plastic and all, but they pretty much haven't been touched. And then we have this button right here. This one I took out of the package. Now, interesting story behind it. You can see there's no spring on this side, but if I flip it around, you can see there's a spring on this one. I actually took this elevator button to a location once, and I dropped it, and it came apart, so I had to look for all the parts. Unfortunately, I can only find one of the springs. Couldn't find where the second one went. But what's nice about these is you don't have to have 2 springs for it to work, because one spring will handle it all. Plus, it's got 2 switches. When I press this button, you can see those little black things go down. So if one of them doesn't work, but one does, the button is not completely broken, because you still got one that works just fine. So you can see there's no spring over here, but you can see the spring on the other side. So what's nice about these buttons is they're designed that if one side breaks, the other side will still work. Therefore, you won't have to call an elevator company to come out and replace it, which is pretty nice. So there's those, the Dover impulse buttons. This is a quality elevator car top station, and this is a pretty basic one. You'd find this on top of the elevator in the shaft. It's got your up, down, inspection, stop, run switches as well. So you got a stop switch right here. You put it on stop, the elevator's not going to move. You put it on run, and then if you want to put the elevator on inspection, you take the switch and you flip it to inspect, like that, and then you would be able to operate the elevator. And then you have these up and down buttons, but over here you have a safe button. In order to operate the elevator, you would hold down the safe button, and then if you want to go up, you press up, and then the elevator would slowly go up at inspection speed. Want to go down? Hold that safe and down button, and you go down. Take your finger off any of those 2 buttons, and the elevator will stop. And there's a specific reason for that, so that way the elevator doesn't accidentally move, and you don't have control over it. You also have a stop switch as well that you can put down just for extra safety. And you also have a light switch right here. And then you got some 110 volt power right there as well. And on top of this as well, you got your spot for the light, but you also got a bell, the alarm bell. You don't really have anything good to ring it, so you can kind of just, there, you can kind of hear it like that. So there's that. This is a pretty nice part. I got this for a really cheap price on eBay. And I gotta say, definitely worth it. Really nice part. This right here is a Phase 2 Firefighters Operation Cabinet. This is made by Epco, and we open it up. You got your basic controls. You got your Phase 2 key switch. You got your call cancel, door open, and door close buttons, along with a stop switch. So if you want to stop the elevator, like if it's moving, you can put it on stop. You want to run it, you put it on run. You got your call cancel button. So for example, if you place a call for a floor and then you find out that's the fire floor or something, you press your call cancel button and it will cancel out that call. You got that. You got your door open, door close. This is a pretty nice panel. And fun fact about this, when I got the panel, this was actually closed and locked. I don't have the key to this panel, so I had to take out these 4 screws. Unfortunately, behind the panel, I was able to move this little locking switch, and I was able to pop it open, so that's nice, because I was worried I wasn't going to be able to do anything with it because the cabinet would have been locked. Oh, and something else that happened when I unboxed it, the door close button broke. It actually got stuck in like this. I had to go in the back and fix it. It works perfectly fine now, though. So definitely an interesting story behind unboxing this, but overall, good elevator part. This right here is a US elevator call station. One of my favorite elevator parts that I have. You'll find this on US Square elevators, and it's also got a hoistway access key switch. Unfortunately, I don't have a key to that, so I'm hoping in the future I can get one so I can operate that, but this is one of my favorite parts. Really nice vintage elevator part, and I'm glad I was able to snag this on eBay when I got the chance. Definitely a really nice part. I did a stream on this part not too long ago, but this is a US elevator indicator. Goes pretty well with the button that I just showed. I don't believe these came off the same elevator, but it is likely. It's possible, but either way, it's a US Square indicator, which is pretty cool. And something unique about the indicators on US elevators is these actually press in. These actually press in like real buttons, you can see. They all press in. The only one that doesn't is the up, because the up is actually broken. So you can see I'm pushing it back. This panel has definitely seen better days. The down indicator is probably in the best condition. As you can see, the 3 is cracked and the 1 is a little chipped. I would say the down and the B are in the best condition. On the back, you can see the only thing holding these things into place is tape, pretty much. So hopefully in the future, I can work on this elevator part and maybe fix it up a little bit more so that way it looks better. Other than that, it's a really nice elevator part. I got this for a really nice price on eBay. So glad I got the opportunity to get this because this is a really nice part. So yeah, there's my US square indicator. All right, here's some parts that I haven't shown off to the channel yet. These are somewhat new to me, but we have 3 Dover Intermediate call stations here, and these actually came off a mod. Let me tell you guys a story. I was out filming elevators, and I happened to stop at a building where the elevators were getting modernized, and the elevator techs were there, or at least one of them. I only saw one tech, and you know, I asked him what he was doing. I asked him, hey, you mind these elevators? And he said, yep, because at first, you know, he's pointing me to the button to press so I could call the elevator. Then I started talking to him about how I have an interest in elevators, and you know, he thought it was pretty cool. And then I asked him, if you're not doing anything with these old parts, can I have them? And he said, sure. So he gave me these 3, and then he gave me some other ones, which you'll get to see in a minute. So right here, we have 3 Dover Impulse buttons. These all have the newer style buttons, even though the elevators were installed in the 80s. And some of the COPs do have the original buttons. You can see right here. And something you can notice about this panel is the down button presses in a lot lighter than the up button. And I'm sure you can probably guess the reason for that. Any ideas? Well, I'll give you the answer. The down button has been pressed multiple times because, I mean, you figure the average person walks in the building, presses the up button at the beginning of the day to take the elevator to their floor, and then at the end of the day, they're not riding the elevator like we enthusiasts do, so they just hit the down button because they're not really interested in going up. So they press down, and that's why you can see why the down button has seen a little better days. I mean, you can see the button pushes in a lot more than it should, but either way, it still works. It still works really well, and it's in pretty good condition. So I got 3 of these, and actually one of them is interesting. Here, I'll let you guys see this one real quick too. Now this one though, there's something interesting about this. If I press, okay, so the down button clicks, right? The down button on this one clicks, right? But what happens if I press the up button? You guys hear that? There's no click. But wait a minute. I just said that these are all the newer style buttons, so what am I hiding behind this? Well, there's something interesting about this part. When this was ripped off the elevator, the actual clicking thing was broken, and you can see part of it's right here. You can see here's the clicker. This actually might have been an older style button, judging by that blue. I can't tell. I really don't know, so it probably isn't an old style button, but this one is broken, so something unique about this is you can press it, and it kind of sounds like an older button. Not really, but it's a pretty nice part. Those 3 impulse buttons, really nice of the elevator technician to give those to me. But that's not all he gave me. I'll be right back with the rest of the parts. After the elevator technician gave me those 3 impulse parts I just showed you, he said to me that he was going to go upstairs and see if there were any more. And he happened to bring down these 3 indicators. But would you believe me if I told you there's more? Well, you should, because this box right here has a ton of those up and down impulse lanterns. So I'll actually pull out a few for you guys to see real quick. So you figure on an elevator, oh, and these elevators serve 7 floors, as you can see. Let me get my flashlight. You can kind of make out the numbers right there. Or what if I do it like that? There you go. 7, 6, 5, 4. Can't get 3. There's, you can kind of see 3, 2, and 1. So there, if I actually leave the light like that, kind of looks like it's lit up. So yeah, we'll leave it like that for now. But here is an up lantern. This one, all it is just the lantern. There's no chime on it, but pretty much on an elevator that, let's say this was on the 1st floor, you would see something like this with the impulse lanterns. So there you can see that. You got your ups. So you got 2 ups on the top floor, or the bottom floor. Now if you're on maybe an intermediate floor, let's say maybe the elevator is on, we'll do 5 since that one's lighting up the best. You might see something like this where it's actually flipped. So you got your up and down. And of course, if you're on the top floor, which is 7, say the elevator is on 7, so is the indicator, you might see something like this. So there you go. So this is kind of cool. And these are really nice parts, and that technician was so nice to give me these parts because he didn't have to do that. It was real nice of him. Yeah, something I gotta say as well about these parts, there is something I really don't like about these parts. In between the metal right here, be careful with your finger. It's very sharp metal, like it's very sharp, and I actually did slide my finger across that once and cut myself a little bit. Very minor cut, but you just gotta be careful. You ever get a part like this, they are sharp, so be careful. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the parts. Something I will show you though, this is hooked up to this. Here's another lantern. This, I believe, is the chime because it does say install up, and it says Dover Elevator Systems Car Operating Station Type M. So I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be a COP or I don't know what this one's supposed to be. If it's supposed to go in the car or something. I don't think it does because here I'll show you guys another part real quick. I'm gonna take this out real quick. But I'll bet you guys that is the chime box. If I can find the other part, here it is. This one, so unlike this one, you guys can see the arrow. See the black right here. This is horizontal, and the arrow's pointing down. But on this one, you can see the arrow is pointing in a vertical direction because, well, the arrow is always pointing in a vertical direction. Let me just show you guys this real quick. See the difference? This one is vertical while this one's horizontal. Something that's nice about these parts is you can actually change the direction. And you can see on this one, these two are actually wired up. So you got an up and down. This was probably in one of the elevators. So before Dover made that dual up and down lantern, they used to use these single lanterns, and you can probably find a few on YouTube if you haven't seen what they look like. I have a video as well. I'll put it in the description if you guys want to see a Dover elevator with single lanterns like this. Put it in the description, so go check that out. And actually, maybe I'll put it in the top right corner. So if I do put in the top right corner, the video will be up there right now. So there's those. These are some pretty nice parts. And yeah, I mean, there's a few more lanterns in here. And also, it was really nice of the elevator technician to give me these parts. He didn't have to do that. Those are the only parts I received from him. I'm still waiting on some call stations, but so yeah, that's it for all the parts. Hope you guys enjoyed the parts tour. Hope to get some more in the future, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.